This is a special edition of stories, of galactic stories, as we call them, because in these periods that we don't know practically anything, we just connect to everything there is, to the divine, to the galactic wisdom, and we share from that and we open from that. And today I have a very, very, very special guest for me. Well, actually, it's the special guest, apart from God, if I can do a special interview with him. It's my master. It's the one who opened the light for my path. And I cannot do enough of gratitude, express my gratitude towards her, because she did that for thousands and tens of thousands of people for more than 30 years now. And she's Brandon-based, and she wrote that amazing book called The Journey, and now it's the method, for me at least, to emotional healing. And I want to stop talking and to introduce my dearest Brandon-based to you. Hello.
Hello, and a heartfelt namaste to everyone. And I'm just so thrilled that we're getting a chance to let this go out to Romania, and a country I greatly love and feel so deeply connected to. And just to set the record straight, I've only been offering the journey itself for 26 years. And so I've been teaching for about 35 years, but this work called The Journey that you were speaking of, that you use in your life as a regular part of your life, I've only been offering for 26 years. And I miss coming to Romania. And it seems like the whole world is on lockdown right now. And it's such an invitation from life. You know, Roxana, I was in Australia before I went to India to give the Advanced No Ego retreat. And, you know, I'd heard about coronavirus, and it was just beginning to get, this was in February, onto the global scene. And I thought to myself, you know, when I get back from India in March, I'm going to take 14 days and just go into my own lockdown and just take 14 days of self-isolation, because it feels like all of life is offering us an invitation to stop the busyness, to slow down, and to connect with something meaningful, to connect with ourselves, to connect with each other. And I was sharing with you earlier, Roxana, I've been so grateful because, as you know, I got back from India, and every single week I have a journey intensive or a journey event schedule, a live one throughout Europe, throughout Israel, South Africa, and also New York. This was my whole, you know, spring schedule all the way up until July, mid-July. And so when the lockdown happened, and we were so lucky, I cannot tell you, you know, I was in India, and I'd gone from the Advanced No Ego retreat, and we'd flown to Goa, and the Advanced No Ego retreat was in Tamil Nadu, at Tiruvannamalai, Arunachala. And so we flew to the other side of India, to Goa, and I was going to give the Life Transformation Program, our 8-day practitioners training. And I ended up in a hotel where they were spewing out some chemical into the air through the air conditioning. It was 35 degrees outside, so you kind of had to have the air conditioning on when you were sleeping there. And it just got on my throat. You know how that can happen with air conditioning. And 2 days later, because of the whole corona situation, I was required by law, I wasn't allowed. And for the first time in 26 years, I had to abort giving this seminar. But it turned out to be so synchronistic. I turned it over to Dr. Rangana Chowdhury, our presenter in India, and she was able to show videos of me and then teach the whole 8-day training, which allowed me to get on a flight that night. We skidded into Greece, where Gabby Burt, my managing director, has her summer home. And I was going to, you know, go from here to begin the springtime tour. And 2 days later, it went into lockdown, and our husbands skidded in hours before we went into lockdown. And when Greece went into lockdown, it wasn't just lockdown. It was it's police enforced lockdown, where you have to have a permit to go for a walk, and a different permit where you send an SMS to the police and they give you a permit to go to the supermarket or to go to a doctor. And so it's very strict lockdown. And as you can imagine, of course, all my seminars got canceled. But there's been a silver lining to all of this, because here we are, all of us in lockdown together. And thank God that we have this beautiful forum here called the internet, where we can connect together as a humanity. And one of the things I noticed when I saw all of the, the maps traveling around the world and the coronavirus, I looked at that, and there was like this one case where one man got it in Ischgl, Austria, at a little tiny ski resort, and it went out to 40 countries from there. And I looked at that, and if ever there was a vision of how connected we are as a humanity, I looked at that and I said, wow, this world is so small, and it doesn't matter our country, our background, our status in life, our skin color, our religion. There is a way that we are connected as a humanity. And I have had the privilege for the first time in 26 years, Roxana, to stop. And I've been able to use this time to just bow down and serve life, to give people support materials. And so I've been recording videos every single day, giving deep process work, meditations, parenting videos, movement videos, yoga videos, videos where you go into the kitchen with me and you learn what really strengthens the immune system and what's a good home pharmacy to have in your home, a natural one, and working with our fears, working with our feeling of loss, our being out of control. Many of us are here at home, and we have kids who are trapped here at home, and parents having to homeschool, and the tempers are rising and people are feeling out of control. And so we've been putting on parenting videos with our presenter, who has written 2 books of using the journey with your kids. And you actually have the journey for kids in Romania, in Romanian language, so that you can have that work and use that with your children. And it really is, I feel, that life has made a big invitation to all of us to go inside and use this time wisely and well. And so I don't know what the kinds of issues that you're facing there, Roxana, in Romania. As you know, we have offered and do offer journey work in 39 countries. It's translated in 24 languages. But what we're meeting here in the other countries that I've been working with and broadcasting to, is that people are feeling like they're in a world of uncertainty. Many have lost jobs. Many of them feel that, with our emotions, we're all of us very good, doesn't matter what country I go to, very good at burying the issues that we don't want to deal with. It's like, feel an emotion, smoke it away, feel an emotion, drink it away, feel an emotion, get on Facebook, get on the web, surf the web, get on Netflix, get on Amazon. It's like anything but actually feel our emotions. And these emotions get stored inside our bodies. They get buried there. And then when we're in lockdown, as most of us are, then suddenly, our family starts triggering these issues and are being cooped up and feeling out of control of our life, and up starts coming the emotions. And so this is why it's such an important time that these issues, these emotional issues that you've been running from and denying and sweeping under the carpet, this is the time to spend time with yourself every day and to go inside and get to know who you are, and to clear whatever's blocking you or holding you back or shutting you down on any level of being. And it's a time to come home to who you really are, to feel at home in your own skin. And so I'm wondering, Roxana, what are the kinds of issues that you've been facing? And you've been here. I mean, I know it's different because you're a journalist and you are allowed to get in your car and go places that perhaps other families aren't going to. But you must have been uncovering things inside yourself, and with the women's work that you do with this galactic program that you have, there must be themes that people have been uncovering in this time. I've been in this police enforced lockdown for 5 weeks, and I never dreamt it would become one of the most beautiful times in my life to learn how it is I can make this work that I've always given live and in person available to all of humanity. And so we are working with the kinds of themes that we're uncovering. But what have you been facing,
Well,
Roxanne?
actually, thank you. I have to say that I discovered the beauty of working worldwide because, yes, me personally, I work with Romanian women, but Romanian women are all around the world. And so we have in our community from women from US, from Canada, from UK, from France, from Spain, from Italy, well, now from Greece, we know. So the reality is from everywhere, and yet it's kind of a theme that goes on for women. It's we want to give certainty to our family, and
Yeah.
right now we cannot. And when everything it's collapsing, well, there was a moment that I needed something to hold on to. I needed I don't know, some certainty. And I do have the journey, but it was kind of excruciating that in moments of fear, um, people don't tend to listen so much, and they are like children. It goes back to children, and they are like that. And I wish I could have a magic tool to feel what I discovered inside myself. Yes, going deep and going through a lot of, sorry, BS, belief systems, that is, of course.
And the other as well.
And as well. Going through, yeah, through beliefs. I went to my mother's beliefs and then to my grandma's beliefs. And then I invited them to a campfire and I listened to them that some of the things that they were saying to me were actually just to calm me down, not what they're thinking actually.
Right.
And was wow for me, but I don't know how to give this to the world, how to give what you can hold on to when nothing seems to be certain anymore.
You know, I had an experience where there were 3 years running where it was like my whole life, like life was pulling the rug out from underneath me. And it was in 1992 where I got diagnosed with that basketball-sized tumor, which, as you can imagine, just sent me reeling. And I healed from that in 6.5 weeks' time. And of course, you know this, the journey was born originally from that healing. And then it has become out of everyone else's healing, and it's developed over time. But the next year, in the same month, there were these mega fires. And I'd moved from New York City to Malibu, California, and lived in a beach shack, really, a beach cottage on the beach. And our house was the sole and only house that burned to the ground in those wildfires that they had in Malibu, California. And I wasn't there, I was in New York at the time. And so our cars exploded. And we were financially absolutely wiped out. Now, the next year, after we tried to cobble our lives back together again, and we actually found a little tiny 2-bedroom apartment south of all the disaster, in the same month, a year later, my husband told me that he'd fallen in love with a younger woman. And this man, I felt at the time, was the great love of my life. And we'd been together for over 20 years. And not only had he spoken to her about being in love with her, but he had spoken to her about marriage. And I can remember it was just like one thing after another after another. My whole life was being taken away from me. And when he told me that he'd fallen in love with this other woman and that he wanted to marry her, you could have knocked me over with a feather. And I went out into the living room and I just stood there. And it was like life itself was shaking the very foundation of who I am, who I hold myself to be, that certainty of my identity, of who I am. And it was, this mountain appeared in front of me. And it was like life itself was just shaking the foundation of that mountain. And it started to crumble into so much gravel and turned into dust. And I began free falling in abject terror. And it was like every time I tried to reach for something that I was certain of, that was me, it's like, I'm not a wife anymore. I'm not a lover anymore. I can't put food on the table because I lost my job in that month. I don't even have a house that I know that is mine that I can live in. And it just seemed like everywhere I was grasping to have something certain that I could cling to, that I knew was who I am and who I identify myself to be in the world. It was all shattering and falling away. And I began to free fall in abject terror. And something just gave way inside of me. I let go. And as I free fell in that terror, I suddenly became aware of what I was free falling in. And that the whole room was filled with peace. A peace that was omnipresent, pervading all of existence. And this peace was embracing me. And as I opened and let go in this peace, I became aware that it was that presence that had been carrying me through all those years, from the tumor to the house burning down, to the loss of my job, to the loss of my marriage. And I just felt crystal clear, wide awake. And I remember marching up the steps into the kitchen, and there was a magnet on my refrigerator that, a friend had given me because of all that I'd gone through, that actually had never spoken to me before. But as I walked past the refrigerator, it's like the words just leapt off the refrigerator. And the words were, know whatever comes unexpected to be a gift from God. And it will surely serve you if you use it to its fullest. It's only this that you strive for out of your own imagination, your own ego, that gives you trouble. And though I couldn't imagine what could possibly be the gift in all this, I had a certain knowing that if I trusted, somehow the gift would be revealed. And if I served life and used this time well, that something good would come out of it. And that was the year. During that year, my husband did get a divorce and left me for his new love. And it was during that year of just being absolutely in the unknown, that in that surrender to trust in the divine, trust in life, trust in this love, that the whole of the journey emerged. It was like I was in an incubator, open in the whole divine potential. And I had no idea where my life was going to take me. But because I surrendered into the unknown, it gave rise to all the journey work. And I began doing case studies that year, and then developed the emotional journey, the physical journey. And from there ended up going and giving seminars. And from there, writing books. We've written 6 books now. They become international bestsellers. And what you don't know, oh, Roxana, which is some beautiful work, is I'm working in tandem with the medical field right now. And I'm on the board of directors for consultants for 2 different hospitals in Israel. And at one hospital, they have a cancer center, an oncology center for people who've undergone the oncology, the cancer operations. And for a week following their operation, they have a recovery center where they undergo the journey work, where they are able to get to the emotional corollary of what has co-created the illness in the first place. And one of the things the CDC, which I'm sure you're all familiar with, if you read the news at all, the Center for Disease Control has on the website, is 85% of all illness has an emotional basis. And what the journey gives you is that ability to get to the emotional cell memories that are connected to your physical illness. And so they do this at the cancer center, and also in the other hospital, they have a heart center where after people have undergone their heart operations, they then undergo weeks recovery, where the major component of the recovery is not just nutrition and meditation, but it is journey work to get to the emotional root cause of what is co-creating the illness. So it doesn't show up as a repeat down the line. And so these big wake-up calls, Roxana, they are a wake-up call to all of us. Now, we as a humanity have received a massive wake-up call, which I feel is an invitation to come home to ourselves, to find this peace that can be found in the core of any suffering, be it devastation, loss, fear. And this is why I'm so passionately committed to giving this work every day online, so that you can, and what I recommend you do is you get on the journey.com and you register. So it'll be sent to your inbox and your email, or that you join our Facebook page. It's called The Journey.
Man.
And Kevin Phillips. Yeah. And that you get it there, you can get it on YouTube. But this is a time that all of us are living in the unknown. And the truth is, we always have lived in the unknown. We just had this illusion of certainty. But God knows, I couldn't have expected that I'd get that tumor being in the field of health and being certified in so many different areas of health. And I couldn't have expected that out of nowhere, my house would burn down and my cars would explode and that I'd be financially devastated. And I couldn't have expected in a marriage where I thought there was such depth of honesty and that it was like this legendary romance that he would fall in love with a younger woman and leave me for her. But all of this, all of life conspired to things I could not change. And we're all in that same boat right now.
Exactly. This is different because I think each of us experienced, okay, not as you did, but in certain level, we all experience some uncertain moments, but one by one. Right now, it seems like beep, nothing it's concrete anymore. And how am I supposed to earn my money if you are not earning? If he is not earning, who is going to pay me eventually for putting a bread on the table? And
Yes.
Also, so what you're saying is me as a woman, and yes, especially a Romanian woman, but I'm pretty sure that all the women in the world, they need to be tough so that the whole family remains. Eventually, the woman is the middle pillar. So we are allowed to let go of everything and to do that, say, I'm not in charge anymore.
No, that's not what I made an invitation to. I made an invitation that as many of us are in lockdown, that you take time every day. You invest in yourself. That you come to a place of peace and clarity, because it's only from that place that you're going to give rise to creative ways to create money at a time when you're not making money. That's what I did. I had nothing left. I was living on $50 a week for my food budget when my husband left me. And, you know, I was sprouting seeds and nuts so that I could get protein. And I was only allotted that amount of money for my whole week's budget. So, I mean, let's not even talk about going to the restaurant. It was survival. And yet, because I surrendered into trust, the journey birthed itself out of this time of the unknown. And so this is what I'm really making an invitation to people, is making yourself crazy. Oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Thinking all these negative thoughts is not going to bring you clarity and a new way forward. But taking a half hour a day, taking an hour a day just for you to come into that place of stillness, of peace inside. It is out of that divine potential that pervades all of existence that a new way forward is going to be birthed. And I don't think that once we come out of lockdown, we're going to go back to the norm. I think that all of humanity is being invited into a new way forward. And we can see how the planet is responding to that. I mean, for the first time in 30 years, you can see the Himalayas from India, because the pollution is cleared. Nobody's in their cars. You know, you see that the rivers, lakes, and oceans have gotten so clean and so clear. And the animals are starting to come out in the streets of Wales. You know, the goats are running wild. And, you know, they had some cougars starting to come into villages, you know, and wild animals are feeling at peace. And our world, bless you, our world is showing signs of clear skies and clear rivers, and it's healing very quickly. And this is a reflection of what we as a humanity are capable of doing. Maybe we will get more conscious about how we live life. And so I was doing a video just yesterday on gratitude. And I said, you know, there's two different camps. There's the camp of people who are protesting being in lockdown in America, and who are furious that they can't be allowed their civil liberties and their freedom to do what they want. And they're voicing their anger inside their houses and outside the houses, and they're contributing to the pain in life. And then there's another camp of people who are saying, right now, we can't change things that can't be changed, but we can offer positivity. We can offer new ways forward. We can offer love. We can offer our hearts. We can connect with our loved ones. We do more cooking in our homes. I mean, I obviously haven't been out to a restaurant in 5 weeks, you know? And so, yes, and life becomes simpler, and we're living more consciously. We're aware that all of life is quieter, and that, you know, right now, because of a certain situation that happened in a local center, a hotel that was housing refugees and migrants, where they got the coronavirus, that we have gone into such a severe lockdown where we're not even allowed to leave the house. They've blockaded the roads. So no one can come in and no one can get out. And literally, if you can get delivery of food, that's what they recommend. Or if you can get delivery of medicines, that's what they recommend. And if you can't get that, then you have to get this code to get out. And only one code offered per household per day. So we are in very, very strict quarantine, not just lockdown. And here we are, all of us connecting like this, offering love to each other, creating solution for each other, supporting one another, reaching out to one another, getting to know our kids, getting to know our spouses. It's an opportunity to work on yourself and to focus again on what matters in life, which is the love we share.
And actually to trust that we all are taken care of, and we don't have to figure it out somehow, how it will be in September. What if the coronavirus is coming back? What if, just to sit still and to go inside us.
Yes, and also that if help is needed, and you really do need help, well, for goodness sake, we're all connected. Had this happened, 20 years ago, we wouldn't be able to get hold of our neighbors. We wouldn't be able to get hold of our loved ones and ask for help, because there are those who are still working, but working from home, like you're working. There are those that are working, in specialized situations. And there are others who have been laid off, and they may need financial help. And maybe they need help in the form of a friend delivers some food, or a loved one comes over. I know I had to have Kevin cut my hair. We're not allowed to go to the hairdresser, and I get massage every week. You know that, Roxana, and I'm not able to get any of that. And so we start getting creative. We ask for help where help is needed. But that creativity is not going to rise from a frantic mind. Okay. This is why I'm welcoming people. Please, please avail yourself. Avail yourself of all the work that is being offered now. I mean, we had Miten and David Primal, who are probably the most famous spiritual singers, do a whole satsang with us where we're talking to them, and they were singing with the world, and yeah, it's extraordinary to me.
And never before this happened.
We've been joined by over 60,000 people joining in this consciousness that is bringing a positivity during this time when the news would like to give us only the negativity. And it's not going to serve or help anybody to collapse into pain, but to surrender into this certainty, this wordless trust, and let yourself be carried, and let yourself be guided by your heart, by that love inside you. Great things are going to emerge out of this. I like all of you, we're paying our employees out of our savings. Of course, I'm not making any money during this time either. And so, we've had to dig deep to want to take care of our loved ones. And does that keep me from wanting to serve life and say we're all in this together? No, it doesn't. So use this time.
And how do you, or from where do you take this certainty to give all your savings, even though you don't know for how many months it will go?
This is going to become trust is all I can say. that which comes unexpected. Know that what comes unexpected to be a gift from God. And it will surely serve you if you use it to its fullest. It's only this that you strive for out of your own imagination.
So actually that's a perfect time to dig inside and to find out who are you really, and who what's the gift that you are to humanity.
And what is it that your own heart wants for you? Because out of this time of incubation, a whole new way forward, a whole new life emerged for me out of my time of that series of catastrophes, where I was plunged into the unknown. And all I can say is that there is a wordless guidance in all of us, a deep place in your heart that knows exactly what's needed in each and every moment. And if you go into that place, it will guide you perfectly through this time of the unknown. And you will emerge, maybe not to the life as it was, as it used to be, but into the freshness of this moment. And so I'm doing videos where they invite you into this place to find your way forward.
And from this experience, what did you discover to be, I don't know, let's say a top 3 wounds that needs to be healed in this period, that are up here to be healed in order for us to go further, to go into that place of certainty?
Okay, so fear of being out of control, fear of loss of loved ones, fear of death, fear of survival. We're talking primal fears here, are what people are facing, and unfortunately, without tools, because none of us were given a manual. How do you cope with a situation like this? These are unprecedented times. And so that's why these tools are being offered to you. So my prayer for everyone worldwide, and also for beloved Romania, is I pray this is a wake-up call for you, and that you use this time. You will survive. We will meet again. And a time for discovering what's really meaningful and what's really true.
Thank you so very much. Just one more question. Why now? There are so many gatherings of you, masters, that you are getting together to, as you did with Deva, Primal, and Miten, and with so many others. Why together? Why is the time for getting together?
Well, I am invited to be on many multi-speaker summits, which you're invited to. You can get a free ticket, for instance, this weekend, the 25th and 26th of April, I'm on a global summit with spiritual teachers and personal growth teachers from all over the world, because we are all feeling a global, imperative that we be part of the change our world needs. That if ever what we have to share is needed, it's now. And so we all have the same prayer. Offer what we can, life, use me. And so, yes, I've been invited to quite a number of global online summits where some of the great world teachers are coming together to serve life during this unprecedented time that we're all sharing in as a humanity. And so this is why, and you're always welcome. If you get on my Facebook page or on my thejourney.com or YouTube even, you'll see that even this weekend, you can hear the other spiritual teachers giving their perspective of how to get the most out of this time. So I'm sending huge blessings and huge love to beloved Romania. And I send the whole world Romania's big-hearted love and a heartfelt namaste.
Namaste, Brendan. Thank you. Thank you so very much. And I know you are preparing more and more. And me personally, I wish for all the women that I work with, but not only women, everybody else in the world, to have the opportunity to get into a journey intensive. And why not? Maybe an online version now, who with thousands of people, to get these tools and get it as profoundly as we received it from you.
Oh, well, thank you. I actually, just last weekend, I finally, for the first time in 26 years, I have filmed a full journey intensive with me for an online program, but it will take some time to develop, and because it'll be live and hosted, and so it's got to be edited and everything. But it's very exciting news that this is one of the ways that life has stretched me beyond what I even ever thought was possible, that you will get that same, I pray, living it transmission of grace, of love that you get when you're with me in person. So watch this spot and stay tuned. Stay tuned. This is the first time I'm letting everybody know that by the end of May, we hopefully will be having live journey intensives for people to enroll in.
I'm pretty sure it will be at least as intense as a live one because of the period we're living.
Yes.
And yes, the openness and the willingness of people to get it till wherever, because we don't know anything, how deep it is, but to go to ourselves. Thank you again so very much. And I hope to see you again, like now, online, and then to have a gathering live.
Namaste.